Okay, I think this is going to be a fairly quick meeting just to let everybody know. I'm going to call this meeting to order. Let's have Judge Petrie lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Judge Petrie. Okay, oath of office, elected members. We've already done that. Pledge of Allegiance, we've already done that. I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Mayor,
Councilman Berg.
make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilman Berg, seconded by Councilman Shuttron. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. The first item is a proclamation, Human Trafficking Prevention Month. Is there somebody here that was, okay. So I'm going to read this, and then did you want to make a few comments after I read it? Okay, that's what okay. Human Trafficking Prevention Month proclamation. January is also known as Human Trafficking Awareness Month. It is a key time for us all as individuals to educate ourselves about human trafficking and crucially to learn to spot the signs of trafficking. It is also a time for us to take these messages to our workplaces, our churches, our schools, our representatives, and everywhere else. Whereas men and women and children in Wyoming are exploited for their bodies and their labor, and whether through violence, deceit, or the promise of a better life, some of the most vulnerable populations among us, including children in poverty, are preyed upon by human traffickers. And whereas Human Trafficking Prevention Month is a time for us to educate ourselves and our friends and family and colleagues to ensure that more people are aware of the issues around human trafficking, because awareness is key to prevention. Whereas we must always remember that our freedom is bound to the freedom of others. This month, let us find inspiration in America's progress towards justice, opportunity, and prosperity for all, and reaffirm our pledge to continue fighting for human rights. And whereas we must shine a light on this violation of the basic human right to be free from violence and abuse, pledge to ensure every victim knows that they are not alone and foster supportive communities that help survivors seek justice. And whereas we must do everything in our power to combat these violations of human decency in order to rid the world of human trafficking. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Pete Rest, Mayor of the City of Green River, hereby proclaim January 2023 as Human Trafficking Awareness Month in Green River, and call on all our citizens to speak out against these crimes and support local efforts to assist victims of these crimes in finding the help and the healing that they need.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Crystal Martin, and in 2018, I founded Sweetwater Against Trafficking Rising Hope. It was in hopes that we would be able to educate our community so that our children and our family members would no longer be suffering from the impacts of the victimization of sexual exploitation and human trafficking. I really need to learn how to breathe when I talk. When I started, it was because I found that my own child was sexually exploited online by about 25 to 30 different individuals. We found out that it was through a platform called Omegle, and we have currently been able to raise awareness throughout the nation about Omegle and the crimes that it's allowing on its social media sites. We still continue to work on education and prevention, as well as helping professionals understand the red flags and what happens when we come across a human trafficking survivor. And we have also been in the works for the last year, encountering 10 different survivors that have been in contact with us right here in Sweetwater County to help them get the services that they so desperately need. So we ask the community to please take the time and educate yourselves about human trafficking and child sexual exploitation during the month of January.
Thank you, Crystal. Does any comments from the council?
Yeah. I have-
Questions? Go ahead, George.
Excuse me. I have just a quick comment. We had a workshop on that at the WAM convention last summer. And I see they got another one on the winter workshop, also sexual trafficking and prevention and education. So I planned on attending it when I seen that. It's apparently a bigger problem than we ever realized when you just stay home and don't see it. You just don't know it's there. So I think this is an important proclamation, and I hope we follow the line that says educate yourself, your family, church, friends, everybody. So thank you.
Yes, thank you for your efforts, Crystal. We're going to take a picture here too. Okay, I'm going to move on and we'll get this through pretty quick. Item number 3, citizen requests and other communications. Are there any citizens in the audience that are not on the agenda that want to address the council? Seeing none. You guys want to make a break right now? Or you want to go ahead? I can sort of see. Oh, we're going to take a 30-second recess. Thank you, guys. Okay, that recess is over. Item 4, board committee appointments. Appointment of 2 council members to the finance committee. I'm going to read this. The finance committee consists of the mayor, the city administrator, the director of finance, and 2 council members. The members of the committee will attend meetings during the budget sessions. I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor,
Councilman Shuttren.
I move to appoint Council Member Gary Kilpack and Council Member George Jost to the Finance Committee for 2023.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilman Shuttren, seconded by Councilwoman Bushman. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. By the way, before I start, I would like to welcome Council Member Ron Williams to the council. Sorry, Ron. Okay, resolutions. Item A, consideration of a resolution for a designation of bank depositories for the city of Green River. I'll read this too. Financial institutions must file an application once a year with the finance officer or treasurer, including a certified copy of a resolution adopted by the board of directors of the banking institution as established by section 9-4806 of the Wyoming statutes. Do we have a motion? Do you need to say anything, Chris, or only if we have a question?
Mayor and council, and if you'd like to, it's standard procedure. We got to do this as a resolution every year. So
I think we've almost all done it before and
Staying.
we're okay, right? Okay. So we're gonna have one member abstain and so do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Councilman Kilpack.
I move to approve the resolution officially establishing the designating bank depositors for the purpose of earning a secured rate of return for the city of Green River.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Kilpack, a second by Councilman Berg. Go ahead, since we have a new councilman, just explain it very briefly, okay, would you please?
Mayor and council, so every year the Wyoming state statutes require the banks to submit a depository and rules and regulations in which they have to utilize and invest or utilize governmental funds. This is that resolution this year. We have our standard depositories that are on there. It can only be banks listed in the state of Wyoming or credited and available for use in the state of Wyoming. It cannot be credit unions or anything of that nature. These are the standards ones we've had for the last, I don't know, 10 years or so. We brought forward a new one about a month ago, I think. State Bank has decided they'd like to start trying to do some, and we're looking at pushing some investments to them to be a little more local for this year. But they also have to pledge 100 to 110% of the value, so the funds are guaranteed for us as well.
Okay, and just to explain, just ever so briefly, just myself, this is all in our packet. So it's not that the council people haven't had the opportunity to look at it and see the banks and everything else. So sometimes if you think we're hurrying along, we've all done our homework and read this ahead of time because it's in a report. So we have a motion and we have a second. Is there any further comments? Councilman Kilpack.
Mayor, I need to abstain.
Okay. So all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. So Gary abstained on this motion and you did see that Mike, okay. Item 6, council action items, consideration of the election of council president and vice president. I'm asking for nominations and we'll start with, what's it say here? We'll start with the council president. So I'm opening up the floor to nominations for council president.
Mayor,
Councilman Berg.
are we going to do these separately or
Yes.
together?
No, well, we'll do them
'Cause
separately.
I'll do a motion for both right off.
Okay, that's fine. That'll work.
I move to elect council member George Jost as council president and council member Mike Shetron as council vice president for the year 2023.
Okay, do we have any other nominations?
Mayor.
Councilman Bushman.
I'll go for George Jost as president and then myself as vice president.
Okay. So inasmuch as we have one nomination for president, let's vote for president first, okay? Because we're going to have to. So all in favor of nominating Councilman Jost for president, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Now, how are we going to do this since we have two people? I guess I'm going to ask for a show of hands for the first person and then a show of hands for the second person. That was as it was announced in the nomination, okay? So those that would like to have, and you guys tell me if you have any problems with this. So what I would ask is those that would like to vote for the vice president for Mike Shetron, signify by raising your hand. Okay, those that would like to vote for Sherry Bushman for vice president. Okay, So congratulations, Councilman Jost and Councilman Shatron, for the offices that you're now holding. Okay. Wow. And with that, we're already at the consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Mayor,
Who was that? Councilman Kilpack?
do we need to have the motion as it reads for the president, vice president? Do we need to vote on it even though what you had us do is just say who we would support? But then
Oh,
Read it as
do we need to read the motion the way Phil?
read it as written.
I thought we
That's
were,
how I did. I motioned it that way, so we just need a second on that.
How did you motion two people?
I read the whole thing. With both those names in it.
Okay.
and we did not get a
Didn't read
second
the
on
two
that.
people On the vice president though.
You didn't get a second, but you had a show of hands. So somebody-
Okay, so go ahead and give your motion again, Council. We're going to do this over.
I move to elect council member George Jost as council president and council member Mike Shetron as council vice president for year 2023.
Second.
Okay, all in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
I
Opposed? Okay, now do we need to? Okay. We're done. I don't think we need to overcomplicate this, it was. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Mayor,
Councilman Shatron.
I make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion carries. Consent agenda is passed. Mr. Acting City Administrator, you got anything for us?
Nothing was passed on. I'm sure that if Reed was here, he would welcome Councilman Williams and congratulate council on all of those who were elected and look forward to meeting with those poor people who were appointed to the finance committee a lot over the next few months.
Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, do you have any comments?
I have no report tonight, Your Honor.
Thank you, Galen. Councilwoman Bushman. Oh, yeah.
Turn me off. Thank you, Mayor. I just want to first say, welcome Councilman Williams to the City Council Board here. And also I want to thank Rainbow Fire Department to quickly getting the fire out that was down the road from my house. So good job on that. Very well done. I wanted to mention Music for Vets is this Saturday. So everyone knows it's a charity event for a local veterans relief fund. So it's $15 at the door or $10 pre-sale. So that's very important. Next Tuesday, I think it's next Tuesday, January 10th, it's the Sweetwater County Outdoor Recreation. If anyone wants to join that, it's from 5 to 7. And also I just wanted to make a mention that I went to WWB's Stamp Out or Packing Out Hunger. And I just received a thank you card for that. So it was like 3 hours and they did about 51,804 meals for the community. So it was it was fun. It went by so quick and it was just enjoyable to be there.
That was right by, tell me where it was by, the old Casbah. Do you know where that is?
No.
I drove by it.
It was at the complex.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. There was another thing going on down on Main Street. There was just cars coming in and it
Oh,
wasn't
yeah.
on Main Street. It was on,
Dewar?
what's close by? That car wash.
Dewar? On Dewar Street?
Yeah, it was on Dewar. Yeah, and it was
Oh.
just parade of cars after another doing some sort of and I think they were actually, it was the group picking up gifts for their kids that were donated rather than giving the gifts. I don't know.
Hmm.
But there was a lot of people that were profiting by it, the efforts of the community. So good for you, Sherry.
That's all I have.
Okay, Councilman Berg.
Just want to welcome Councilman Ron Williams to council and look forward to the next couple of years. That's it, Mayor.
Thanks, Councilman. Councilman Shatron.
I'd like to echo everybody else and welcome Ron to the council and congratulate everybody on taking their new term.
Thank you, Councilman Shatron. Councilman Jost.
I also just echo the welcome to the council. Have a good time. There'll be a lot going on here in the next few months, so you'll be busy. But welcome.
Councilman Williams, do you have anything that you would like to contribute tonight?
Nope, I don't have nothing today, brand new, just filling it out, so thanks.
Sounds good, Ron. Councilman Kilpack.
I just want to welcome Ron to the council and echo what everybody else has said, and Buy American and Shop Local.
Is that plagiarizing or what's that term that you? Very good. Okay, and I just want to also welcome Councilman Williams to the group. And I want to mention the chairman of the Greenbelt Task Force was in my office today, and he wanted to we're going to have our communications director. Is that the right term, Steve? Close enough. Steve Core is going to get the word out to people that we're going to have one more comment period on the Greenbelt Task Force master plan. So that'll happen sometime this month, and Steve will get the word out to the public and to the press. And after we've had those couple of weeks of public input for the final time, we'll have a meeting next month on the adoption of the plan, and that'll give us the opportunity also to respond to any new comments that we receive in that plan. Is that agreeable to everybody? I'd like to get going on that. There's an awful lot of projects and things that are associated with that plan, whether it be associated with the Kildare wetlands, the Greenbelt itself, the trail up on the mountain for handicapped people. So there's a lot of things we need to get moving on because they're going to start happening in the springtime. So I did want to mention that so that the public will be aware of it, and Steve will take care of that for us. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mayor,
Councilman Berg.
I'll make a motion. We adjourn.
I'll second it.
Moved by Councilman Berg, seconded by Councilman Jost. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. We're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.